In a minute. All right, so we are live. All
Yay.
right, finally. Hi, Kesego. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being patient as we experience some technical issues. I think right now I can send you the link, maybe to share to your Facebook audience. It's okay. I don't think it should be a big deal, right?
Okay. Yeah.
People can always skip the first part of this video and then just so that it's able to reach your audience.
Okay.
So let me just send you this link right now, and then yeah, we
Okay.
can continue our conversation. So how are you? How have you been? Are you o nako ke mang gona nako?
The time is exactly 11 past 2, Gagwano. I am doing so great. Currently, just overwhelmed with the current nomination competition by Dan. I don't think I expected so much
You are
um, traction and people mentioning me to that regard. So that is such a mind blower to say, damn, I didn't expect that much, you know. But I'm so grateful to everyone who has taken time out of that busy schedule to actually mention my name, both Keseo
Emma.
Samantha Moeng, in my business page.
And the thing is, you actually deserve it because I've been following you for many years now. Like, I think yeah, I've been following you for so many years, and I think you're such a hardworking person, and a lot of people are really recommending you, endorsing you, and I feel like you deserve that. So you should know that you deserve that after all your hard work.
Thank you so much. That's very humbling to hear.
All right,
I'm so humbled by your words and thank you.
Emma. So I've messaged you the link, and so once you're done sharing it, we can get started.
I think because I had asked people to actually tune into your Facebook page, they will then have access to the live. So we can
Okay.
continue with our conversation. Yes.
All right. So please tell me more about Kesego.
All right. So Kesego is a young lady who decided to pursue mixology as a career and a business, and she's extremely passionate about it. I will say, however, self-taught. I started with a recommendation or a suggestion from a friend who thought I just have the character for it, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I didn't know anything. And obviously, I am of the firm belief that you can never stop learning. So after I found out what mixology is, I invested a lot in research and understanding the craft, how to better deliver from my previous delivery. So I have myself as the biggest competition, you know. I always want to do better than what I rendered previously to my last client. So I think that's one of the things that helps me grow because then I'm able to sit and say, okay, what did I do with my last client? What can I do with my next client? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's Kesero and the mixologist as far as the journey began.
Right. So for someone like me who, doesn't know what mixologist means, would you
Yeah,
kindly explain what that means?
definitely. A mixologist is a liquid connoisseur who has the skill set, the knowledge, and the desire to actually engage guests with beverages to enjoy. These could be alcoholic and non alcoholic. This could also be your extending to your wines, your champagnes, your basically any beverage that can be served in a glass or
So it's the ability to mix them in order to make a new one, or
it's the ability to understand the craft, to serve, and understand why whiskey can go well with lemonade or soda water and it won't go well with your Indian tonic. So it
mm,
requires knowledge, it requires extensive research, it requires you to also be knowledgeable of the spirits or the liquids that you do work with. Why you
mm,
also cannot mix champagne with Coke, why you
mm-hmm.
can't or why you can why gin is a good spirit to have with Indian tonic or your lemonade to understand different notes on different beverages.
Okay. And
Mhm.
like, what did you study in school? Like, how did you then kore ke batla gore re simolola kwa ntlheng hela ke tlhaloganye gore what did you study in school?
actually did not go to school. I did not study. I've never had the opportunity to go to varsity. I finished my Form 5 and I went straight into the corporate space or the working space. And it's because of challenges that I had that I couldn't progress to varsity. But that has never stopped me from pursuing a career or a passion play like mixology. I started working at the age of 19 as a waitress. I became a
Oh,
cashier. Then I also became a call center agent or supervisor. So you
yeah,
get to realize that if you look at the fields that I've worked in with my CV,
yeah.
there's a transition from being a
Mm,
waitress to a cashier to a call center supervisor. And I'm going to be honest, the only thing that kept me growing is my character. Even the
mm,
opportunities that I did get, I had people headhunting me to say, we have heard that you are exceptional with customer service. We have heard that you are exceptional and very passionate. You are very customer oriented. And I think that's one of the things that made it very easy for me to jump from being an employee to a business owner or founder of this very business that I'm currently pursuing.
right, right. So what would you say, like, how Bereka as a waitress, you were able to pick up that you are now using in your business since it's the same kind of like industry?
So what I picked is that if you take care of your guests, if you take care of your clients, if you satisfy your customers, if you give them an experience, they will pay and they will
Mm,
come back. Mm.
right.
So contrary to popular belief, people think or businesses often think it's about the aesthetic, it's about the ambience of options. No, people pay for an experience, people pay for good service, people tip for how you are able to serve them and make them feel valued and make them also just under like feel the need to spend on you. Like it's more
Mm.
about service than anything. And I think that's one of the things that really stood out for me, even as a waitress, because day three of being a trainee waitress, ne e le gone ma 200 pula a tswang, I got a tip of a 200 pula on a bill ya 40 pula. So,
Oh,
and it's
nice.
one of it's one of the things that I still think about to date. And the couple there was a couple that were just having salads. And look, I think about this couple every day when they're not from Botswana, but I remember them saying they had never encountered such service. So this is one of the things
Wow.
that have also kept me in the business for 6 years.
Wow. Okay, so now getting into your business, so
Mhm.
becoming a mixologist, what kind of clients have you been able to get in your business? And
Okay.
I just want you to really dive deep into the different clients and how you serve them accordingly.
Okay. So when I started, obviously as a mixologist, I thought I could do public events. That's where I thought my niche should be. Only to learn that that's not where I want to be because it's a bit chaotic. Sometimes people don't have the time to appreciate the craft of mixology because they're just at an event. They want to have a good time. They just want to have grab a drink, go back to dancing. Grab a drink, go back to
Hmm.
that chair. And
Right,
then
right.
that's when I decided actually I'm going to narrow down my niche. So my clients are your corporate, high end. They are also private events. They are also your weddings. So this is where you get the opportunity to not only serve and take care of guests, but interact with them, explain certain things to them. One of the things that I pride myself with is I always have showstoppers in my bookings or engagements, right?
Yeah.
Where I make people really understand why they're having gin berry smash, the process to make it, the garnishes. Why do we use certain garnishes? Why do we use certain um, mixers to tone down the spirit? So it's very important for me because this is what I'm really, really passionate about, making people understand how they enjoy beverage, why they can't serve gin in a whiskey glass or gin in a champagne glass. I get the opportunity to do that. So that is my current clientele base, corporate, high-end, private events, and weddings.
Okay, so I hear you in terms of like you speaking about glasses. So like for me, I don't know much. I really want you
Mm,
to treat this conversation like you're speaking to someone who completely doesn't know anything about your craft, right? So
yeah.
ke ra gore di-galase tsa teng di harologana yang, and how do you determine which glass to use for certain alcohol?
Okay. I wish I could like stand up, dash, grab the glasses, and show you.
You can.
But I can.
Yes, you
Just
can,
hold on for
please.
me. Do hold on for
All
me.
right. Okay, so Kesara is just gonna grab the glasses to show us how to differentiate the glasses for someone like me, someone like the audience who don't really know much about the glasses, and she's gonna explain to us more on this. Gore re tlhaloganye gore, o bereka yang, le gore re itse gore, okay, if you ever are interested in becoming a mixologist, this is what it entails. And also because I don't think this is a common craft back home. And she had mentioned that also her being a woman in the field is a new concept. So I'm really excited to see the different to see the different glasses and really get to learn more. So yeah, we're just gonna wait for her. If you have any questions during this live session, be sure to drop them and she will be able to answer them.
Okay, I can
Right.
do it. I just hope I don't break any. All right, so I'm going to show you because I can't hold all of them at a go. I
In
will
one.
try my best to show two at a go.
Okay.
So we've got flutes, and I've got two different flutes to show. These are champagne flutes. This is a champagne flute with a stem. And if you do remember back then, we used to have flutes that had a thick stem, a thick stem, sorry, and now we're moving on to the thinner stems, and then we've got the stemless flute. Now, this is where you can enjoy your champagne, your bubbles, your sparkling wine, and yeah, this is where you. This is mostly used by the girlies that love your mimosas, your champagne. You can also serve my favorite um, cocktail from France, which is called a French 75. I
Okay.
must add that one of my goals actually is to go to Paris with
Okay.
this
You
one.
will.
Yeah.
You
And
will.
then, amen. And then we've got what you would call a martini glass, or this is the one that they could use to serve your cosmopolitan, your margaritas, um, so, and then we're gonna move on to your goblet. So we've got two options. Unfortunately, I don't have the stemless one, but this is where you would have your wide position. I actually won this glass from the chef's competition, hence why shirt. So this is your gin goblet. It's not a wine glass, it's a gin glass. So this
Mm.
is where you easily get your gin, and then it's so open and it's so big because then gin is such a fun spirit to work with in terms of garnish. You have any any option to run with. You can literally like the garnished options are unlimited with gin. You can use your cucumber, your cinnamon, your blueberries. So hence why it's as wide as it is because it allows for so much play because gin has got one of the most open notes to blend with, right? And
Right.
then this is this is your typical red wine glass, right? And then you find that the white one is a bit slimmer. And unfortunately, I had a few guests land of my glassware, so I don't have the one to show. But you get to also see that usually the stem for the wine glasses they're not as long as for gin and champagne. And then last on the glass option is a whiskey glass, right? It's usually shorter. And if you look closely, you'll then see that it's branded exuberance. It's one of the first glasses I had when I started in 2019. So all of
Oh.
these, then you will then know what beverage goes into which glass. And these
Mm.
are also um, part of the skills that I share when I curate cocktail experiences because I do that for some people who just like, I just want to understand the craft of mixology. Are you available for like one-on-one, or I would like to surprise my partner? So this is also what I involve in the cocktail experience. So yes, ma'am.
Nice. So, ke batla go tlhaloganya gore, a cocktail, what is the difference between, say, a cocktail and a margarita, for example? Like, I just need to understand because I think maybe like people might think everyone knows, like, but I would want to know like what's a mimosa, what's a margarita, what's cocktail, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So there are two elements to your neck cocktail, like servings, right? It's either a cocktail or a mocktail. So a
Mm.
margarita is a cocktail, a mimosa is a cocktail, a gin and tonic
Oh.
is a cocktail. So a cocktail is any beverage with alcohol, and a mocktail is any beverage without any percentage or alcohol infusion. So champagne, wine, anything alcohol related or anything with a bit of percentage in it is a cocktail, right? That is
Mm.
why even when they class or when they curate a menu, they will say cocktails and wines. They fall under the same brackets, right? And also there are some cocktails that are based or have a layer of wine, like your New York sour. It's one of my favorite cocktails that I have worked or tweaked the signature recipe. So a margarita is a cocktail, a mimosa is a cocktail, and a cosmopolitan is a mocktail. And then you've got your passion fruit and lemonade, for example. That's your mocktail. And then there's some recipes that I've curated in my menu to my various clients to say, please, there's fun ways to enjoy beverages house and
Mm-hmm. So it's this whole thing is not only about like alcohol, right? It's just about beverages, or
No.
it's completely alcohol.
Yes.
Okay, okay. And then I
No,
think
no,
for
no.
me,
Both.
mm-hmm, it's non-alcoholic
I was
for
saying
those who
both.
don't drink.
And
Yeah. Okay.
yes.
And then
Mm-hmm.
okay, for example, like mixologisti, le barista. Go haraganya ako no ho, like what's the difference?
So barista centers or focuses on hot beverages. This is the person who makes your cappuccinos, your espressos, your lattes. They can have the skill, yeah, a mixologist, and also a mixologist can have the skill, yeah, a barista. However, the
Mm.
barista part is literally centered around hot beverages.
Okay, okay. And like,
Yes.
would you say like your craft in Botswana is appreciated? Like in industry ya ko Botswana ya, I think Batswana ba rata monate, but would you say like they appreciate the craft, or it's not yet understood as yet?
I feel like it's growing. When I started in 2019, there weren't so many mixologists, there weren't so many liquid connoisseurs, but now I see more competition to me growing or coming up. So I feel like it's evolving, and it's such a beautiful sight to see. And I don't think it doesn't matter how many mixologists come up, there's so much cake for all of us. So
Right.
it's so heartwarming to see the craft growing. So I feel like Botswana are leaning into even establishments nowadays are actually putting out job adverts for mixologists. Back then it'd just be bartender, they'll just be bartending it, ho hella hella ho, and then how's an
Mm-hmm.
you don't find many options are your cocktails and mocktails.
Mm-hmm. And would you say like if one was able to get a job in an establishment, is it good money, or they don't correct? I need to understand if it's an appreciated skill in the sense that kore go kate motho a ba specialized, so o mo duela a certain salary, or it's just not appreciated as yet, even by establishments.
I feel like it's not appreciated as yet, but it's not as bad as before.
Okay.
And excuse me, the other challenge with working for an establishment, or the other reason why you wouldn't see me maybe tied down to an establishment, is that then you can't take outside gigs. Then you are tied down to this establishment, you know. So
Right.
most establishments would expect that mixologist to just be tied down to that particular establishment. So
Mm.
I'd say really right now they are leaning and learning to appreciate it. So I feel like we're headed in the right direction. But back then, ooh, it was such a challenge.
And how were you able to navigate those challenges and grow in your area of expertise?
Remember, I said I started out doing public events. I did one public event enough to know this is where I now need to change my niche. So one of the things that I did so well was that I found my niche very early, in the early stages of me pursuing this as a career. So I was then able to define my target market. I was then able to know how to satisfy, engage, and service them. So I think that's one of the things that have kept me to this day.
And like public event or ra event e tshwanang leng and no go iragalang se e leng gore ne sa dira gore o feel gore no, this is not what I wanna do.
So public event, for the respect of the brand, I'm not going to mention which public event this was,
Right.
but I was serving the general attendees at this public event. I'm talking about something similar to a festival, right?
Okay. Okay.
An event held at a stadium, right? So if you're serving like let's say 2,000 people, do you think 2,000 people will have time to wait for a drink and understand gore, oh, Mojin berry smash go tsena a berry puree mix that I prepare. They don't have that time. They want their
For no
savannas.
bojal.
There's nothing wrong with the savannas, the coronas, but it's a grab and go. And I was like, where's the
Mm,
interaction? Where's the customer service? Where's the engagement? Where's the appreciation for the craft? And I
mm,
can do festivals, but now I can only cater for the VIP because God there's an opportunity for the event organizer to even say, Ma, I want to give my VIPs an experience.
hey.
What do you suggest? And then I can suggest, oh, let's do the showstopper. Oh, let's do a bit of tasting if we're let me use the St. Daniel's gin, right?
Mm,
If lovers of gin are in the VIP, we do short sampling or I create a short recipe and then I get to maybe have people guessing the notes in that gin because the gin is there's
mm,
flavored gin, there's London dry, but still Tanqueray is still not the same as Gordon's. The taste, the smell, they are different.
right.
So I love the engagement. I love the interaction. I love the experience to prepare a drink, see a customer grab it, sip it, and be like, this is new. This is something I've never had. Damn, your recipe is quite satisfactory to my taste buds.
Okay. Wow, Kore, it's
Yes.
okay. I have no clue. I have never heard about this before. And also like someone who just goes out to events and finds everything already curated and go setse go baakantse. So I've never, I've actually never been in a situation where I meet a mixologist and have to kind of like interact with them. So definitely, I
This
feel
is
like
your
when
sign
I'm
to book me, okay? Book me.
yes, definitely. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I would actually want to, have that experience with you, Ebike, because, I'm very curious. I would be asking so many questions. You're gonna get tired of me. But
Oh no.
so, yeah. So I think, like you were saying, you mentioned, Jorge, this is something that you did not even have to study for. Let's say, for
Yeah.
example, you had an opportunity to then travel to Paris to, I'm actually gonna try to look to see if this is something that I can assist with because
Oh
maybe there are
really?
things out there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the opportunities out there for creatives like you, maybe
Yeah.
conferences or networking
Mm.
opportunities. So we'll just
Mm.
try to see if we can find something, hopefully.
Mm.
I'm not promising anything because this is definitely not something I've ever looked up, but I'll definitely, find time to see if I'll find anything in those lines. Because if, for example, you didn't have to study to become one, but you're good in your craft, would you say
Mm.
like women are in this craft, or is it more of like Kore, is it what's the space like in terms of gender?
The space in terms of gender, I would say women are still shy. Look, this craft requires you to be very stern, requires you to be very firm, requires you to be very articulate because it's a male dominated industry. And first of all, before I actually go into that,
Mm.
let me appreciate you for saying you would be open to like looking around for opportunities to that, because that's exactly something I've been looking for, you know. And it's a
Yeah.
situation where that if there's like a training, a conference for mixologists, whether Paris, whether anywhere, I am willing to go because I would also, outside having the skill and the passion, I'd like to have documentation that backs up my craft. So thank you so much
Hmm.
for willing to say you'd be willing to assist. It's not something that I take lightly. Now back to the gender role. Yeah, it's a very male dominated industry. It requires you to have grit. It requires you to have the zeal and the tenacity and the ability to handle different characters, especially because when you are a mixologist, you are dealing with spirits of a higher percentage. So people get marinated quickly. So you have to have the ability to handle guests. You have to have the ability to engage with guests and make them understand that at the end of the day, even as a female, also like 15 out of 20 guests could be men, you know. And gentlemen, when they're marinated or when they've already had a few drinks, they're so expressive, you know, they're so expressive, but you need to be able to set boundaries. You need to be able to stand your ground. So I think in terms of gender, I haven't seen many women, but this is something I want to change next year. I want to
Yeah.
actually start a mixology hub where I get to train women and men as well, but more centered around women because I can imagine having 10 other women who are mixologists. I'd be so proud. That would make me so happy because then it means we are capable. We have the potential to do just what a gentleman can do behind the bar.
Right. So I know gore like ditlabo, for example, gompieno these, I don't know what you call them, like these girls that carry
Bottle goals.
bottle girls, for example. That is a craft that wasn't common in Botswana, but then I think it has grown
Mm,
with the years. So I can imagine like having gore, I need to understand how gore it's a male dominated industry, and with establishments ko Botswana tse e leng gore gompieno, you know, I think, you know, the CBD has, you know, different establishments tse e leng gore it's different from, let's say, 5 years ago. Do you
definitely.
have mixologists in those places or not?
I think, like I said, they are evolving, and that there's a few. I also kind of did a small tour to find my favorite cocktail is the whiskey sour. So I did a bit of a tour to find where can I get the best whiskey sour. And for you to be able to do a whiskey sour, you need to understand flavor balancing, components that go into it, ingredients as well. I enjoy it without the egg white. It's a cocktail that has an egg white. It's a shaken cocktail. And the best I've had is at Ayoba. So I feel like um, it's really growing and establishments are looking deeper into having mixologists more than just bartenders. So it's evolving so well and it makes me so happy to be able to enter a space and just be like, could I please have a whiskey sour? And then it comes and
Okay.
yeah.
So then, in terms of like marketing your business, is this something where you engage with promoters? Koro, what is the landscape of then marketing and growing your business in this regard?
So one of the things that has helped me market my business is social media and client retainment. You know, I think 85% of my inquiries are usually, I got your number from Bohadi Are. You served her Kobolebelebe. So could you please then provide me with a quotation? Or usually because I'm heavy on having a digital footprint as a business, you know. We're moving in time, we're in times where now social media is the easiest place to get clients, to get business, to get anything is at the disposal of your phone. So I do my level best to have digital footprint that easily speaks for me. So outside that, I do knock on doors. I do use the traditional marketing ways where I knock on doors, share my profile where I can. But half of the time when I do that, I find that these people already know about me. And it's actually quite humbling to learn that. And then that's how we're able to then carry the conversation forward. And I think one of the things that helps me in business is that I never feel like I've arrived. I always feel like there's something to learn. There's always a new client to serve. There's a client right now. There's someone right now who's watching this live who didn't know of my existence, but now they know. So I never feel like I've arrived. So I always push myself to put myself out there.
And are you getting a lot of corporate gigs, would you say?
I think it's fair. I'd say I'm getting a fair amount of corporate gigs. Um, like any business, this was one of the most challenging years for me. I didn't have a lot of bookings. And I feel like it's just part of business. Like I said, I think earlier on when we were having the glitches to have this live setup, I said I'm literally the last person to panic, to get anxious, to worry. So even when things happen, I just feel like this is normal. Like the weather, it's not always sunny outside, but what can I do to stay relevant? I could do more research. I could come up with new recipes. I could do follow. Like there's so much to do to stay in business. So yeah,
Hi, Andy's shouting out. So we have a few comments here. We have Andy saying hi, Kesego, Andy Batlopi. We have Man Wabo saying good going, ma'am. We have Umpata Bogos Blackie saying my girl. And then we have Karabo Hendricks, just shout out. So
those are
yeah,
my
no,
people. Salute to all of them. I love them
that's
so much. Each
cool.
and every one of them.
That's cool. So I actually want to understand, Jorge, is Botswana kind of not Botswana, Gaborone, is it a good
Mhm.
place for your craft, or would you do better in places like Moeng le Kasane?
There is no place that I feel is not good for my type of business because events happen everywhere. Events are happening all over the country. So Gaborone is currently where I get most of my clientele from. I haven't explored Maum and Kasane, but that's something also that I have planned for the year 2026 to stretch my wings and my covering. So yeah, I'm quite happy with how things are currently. I feel like most of my clients and the other danger is that they actually think I'm based in Gaborone, which I'm not.
Oh,
So
that's what I
hey,
thought. Where are you
everyone
based?
thinks I'm based in Muchudi. I live in
Oh,
Muchudi.
okay,
Eh,
cool. Yeah.
so it's actually not far from Gaborone, so there really isn't much of a difference. But they're always like, "We thought you were a gaps girl," and I'm like, "No."
Much these gaps, come on, like
Which, yeah,
pakaline, like can feel like
they go
it's not
by.
like hectic once.
Yeah, it's
So
not really.
yeah, so yeah, no ke batla go ipotsa gore, okay, so we have this service that we have where we have partners in Mauritius. Like as I'm talking
Hmm.
to you, I'm just thinking we have partners in Mauritius where we help students to apply to Mauritius, and then possibly we help them to kind of like apply for jobs there as well.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, I mean, we charge service fees and everything. So I'm thinking of maybe after this conversation, I can just have a chat with my partner to see if,
Hmm.
there are opportunities for people like you in Mauritius. Because in my mind, Mauritius is this place where people like you are more, I don't know if prominent is the word, but like you can reach a better niche and target market in a country like that. Do you think so, or am I
Yes.
thinking too much?
Yes. When you say that, you are literally tingling my sensations because a few weeks ago I attended the Bold and Power Breakfast session, right? So Bold and Power Breakfast sessions are sessions that are curated to bridge the gap between entrepreneur and your dignitaries in it could be the government, it could be the parastatals, it could be your corporates, right? And I had the opportunity to be in the session where the consulate from Mauritius was the dignitary. And Mauritius is such an island. It's a tropical landscape where drinks are flowing. People
Right.
so you know what? Even when I attended that session and the consulate had curated a video to show us the business demography flow of how
Mm.
the service and the tourism industry is so strong in Mauritius. I was like, God, just take me there. Because
Mm.
wow, what an island it is. So
What
ma'am,
an island it
you'd be
is.
I'd be more than elated to actually have that conversation with you.
Oh, so you would actually be willing to kind of like relocate if there's an opportunity?
Yes,
Ah,
yes,
within a
yes.
split second.
Now, if you say live ends, pick your bags. Yeah, hell. Yeah, take it, guys. It's been lovely, Claire. Deuces.
So, so do you have any thing samples right now? Maybe like drinks or no, you don't keep drinks in your house. You just attend events and then that's where you get drinks, or like how does it work?
I don't have samples right now. I do not keep
Yeah.
alcohol. Most of my clients usually then
Yeah.
say, could you just provide the labor? Which I'm always happy to do because it's
Oh.
minus one. Yes, most of my
Mm-hmm.
clients usually say, we prefer to get the drinks if there's garnishes, syrups, etc. Please guide us to purchase, or we can give you the budget, then you purchase. So I barely keep stock. I barely keep alcohol at home.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I hope that we can have another conversation at some point, maybe when or if I do win the Daniel Genosi competition, then I could like show you or prepare a drink in your presence or during the live.
Okay, so yeah, no, ke batla go itse gore currently there's a whole competition that people are endorsing you. What's the competition about, and how will it help you in your in your growth?
The current competition going on, I feel like Daniel Genosi has had the opportunity to work with BNR to serve VIP cocktails or welcome drinks or to take care of them throughout the event, right? I've had the
Mm,
opportunity to serve the VIP at BNR for the past 3 years. So I feel like
nice.
right now the endorsement or the competition is to be able to work with St. Daniel's Gym. So
Wow, that
this,
is cool.
yes,
I'm really
yes.
praying for you. I hope you get chosen, and I hope there's so many people going for you in that comment section. They really want you to win that
Yeah,
opportunity. And for December, I
yeah.
feel like, so how is December? And are you busy? Are you busy? Kana go December.
Not yet. Like I said, this was my first terrible year in business. So I'm not busy. And that win, ah, the timing could not be perfect. If I get that opportunity,
Hmm.
that would be such an affirmer to say, yes, it may have been a terrible year, but just keep going. You're still very visible. You're still very valued by people. You're still very much loved for your craft. So winning that will not only make me more exposed to my ability to handle spirits, but it will also just allow me. I live for impact. I live for the people. Live like I really love seeing the people that rally behind me. I'm heavy on. My friends usually say, "Hey, Shweta, when I get so it's usually it's really the small things. The small things are not the small things. If someone can follow your work for 6 years consistently, someone can believe, affirm, and push and put that integrity on the line to say, "Kara ke betcha ka Kesego." Money can't buy that. And when someone like Daniel Kinosi then takes a risk to say, Bona, we're entrusting you with a VIP, that means if there's like 300 VIP, I need to ensure that all 300 guests are satisfied. All 300 guests enjoy the gin. All 300 guests have options. A typical example, there could be someone who is allergic to cucumber. Omwarata cucumber in that gin. I need to be able to cater to everyone. And that means everyone has to be happy. So one of my driving goals with every engagement is zero complaints. If I get one complaint, I try to squash it as quickly as possible. Because if guests are not happy, then you're doing something wrong.
Right,
So
right, right.
that'll also just allow me the opportunity to have people understanding mixology as a craft altogether and appreciating it in person.
All right, so we have a comment from Ontlametse Pakomolatlheri. So what he was
Okay.
saying is, it would be great to start creating content like Tipsy Bartender, show cocktail
Mm-hmm.
personalities and the whole process, right?
Mm-hmm.
People don't
Mm-hmm.
just buy drinks. they buy entertainment, vibes, and skill. And that is so true, right? Like,
Mm,
we see pictures. I mean, I went through your profile, and these drinks are so beautiful. And I think what he's basically suggesting is like, we'd want to see the process. I don't know if it's allowed in corporate events for you to then create content e leng gore would then help you to market your craft. What do you think? What would you say on that comment?
on Tlametse, and that is the direction that I will be taking for the year 2026, where now most of my content is centered around drink preparation, um, balancing the drink flow, colors, aesthetic, garnish preparation, etc. He does have a point. And yes, actually, Tipsy Bartender is one of the people who also just really helped me so much as a mixologist because I used to follow his content and gain some knowledge from there. So thank you so much, Antoinette, for that contribution. Do look out to such content as soon as it's up.
Sorry, do you need a minute to because I can hear like your phone. Do you need a minute? Okay,
It's
so
fine.
it seems like we're having some form of engagement from people. So if you have any questions for Kesero, please be sure to ask her questions. If you have any suggestions, please be sure to suggest. I think she's open to suggestions. We're gonna be finishing our live stream in the next 5 to 7 minutes. So in that time, you can ask her
Mhm.
questions, you can contribute, you can comment on her craft, what you think, you can endorse her for the competition that she's in and she wants to be part of is it BNR? Yes. So please endorse her, go
Yes.
to Daniel Guinness's page, endorse her so that she gets more gigs. And I just want to understand what you meant by this has been a rough year for you. Um you know just being vulnerable, like what does that mean for you and in business and yeah, if you're open to sharing.
What I mean by this has been a bad year is that my last gig was in February. So all these months I've not
Oh.
had any bookings. Yes, I've not had
Mm,
any bookings. And like I'm saying, the sun won't always be shining. I don't
mm,
think entirely there's anything wrong. I just feel like the demography is growing. There are more options. There are more people coming up. So, and that was kind of like a learning curve as well to say, where could I possibly be going wrong? Where could I possibly be missing it? How could I improve or ensure that 2026, 2027, 2028 does not have the same thing that happened in 2025 does not reoccur. And also, it could just be a bad year because the economy really is tough currently. But it's really not a point. I'm not at a point where I'm just like, it's a train smash, it's a king, I'm considering closing that. No, I feel like without challenges, you cannot grow. I feel like with challenges, you cannot be able to stay relevant, to stay pushing, to stay encouraged. So for me, terrible as it was, actually, I wanted to share this with how you got to contact me for this very interview. Excuse me. It reminded me, that story of two men digging for diamond, and then the
mm,
other one digs and then finds a small diamond quickly. Then the other one has to dig longer, and then there's a big diamond waiting for him. That's
right.
how I felt like this year was for me. It's at the end of it, it's been plus minus 7, 8 months without any bookings. But look at what's happening now. I'm one person who's
Mm.
so my optimism will make you wonder, does she have
Yeah,
stress?
I'm
Does she
shocked.
yeah. Does she ever like worry? Does she get anxious? Does she like does she panic? Like you wonder so many things about my personality and character. And it's because one of the things that I think I pride myself in is how resilient I am and how focused also I am and hopeful that at
Every-
the end of the day, things do
Yes.
get better. The sun
Mm,
shines. It doesn't matter how long it's been raining. Doesn't matter how long it's been dry. At some point, the narrative has to change. The story has to change. It doesn't end with pain. It doesn't end with no bookings. It doesn't end with like, hey, I'm so optimistic. I just always feel like there's always something to be grateful for. Even
mm,
amidst those months of no bookings, I was still pushing. I was still running content with so much optimism to say, look, that it does get better. So
mm. It does
that's
get better,
basically what
and
it does. And
mm,
I think giving up is one of the things that you could do prematurely. And how we tell you're giving up at the time where it really becomes easier to penetrate your career.
mm. And that's so interesting. Like
Yeah.
creatives in Botswana, I need to understand if entrepreneurship is something that is working in Botswana. Is it something that is
Mm,
working in Botswana? Let's say, for example, the security of having like a 9 to 5, let's say in 8 months not being able to do business, like in that time, how's life like? And would you say this is the common I think the common conversation I have with entrepreneurs in Botswana is kind of like the same. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like where sometimes you just feel like, you know what, that's why Botswana is Gaborone the place, or would places like Bukasani be better? And then also moving on to the fact that, okay, this is the reality of, let's say, Botswana, and how
Hmm.
sometimes we re hela re gore re tswe mo Botswana, wa bona, gore re kgone gore
And
dilo di tswelle. And so what would you okay, let's say you're very optimistic, right? And let's say in terms of realistically speaking, entrepreneurship in Botswana and mixology as a career in Botswana, would you say in the next 5-10 years, um what are you saying about this craft in Botswana?
I feel like the craft in the next 5 to 10 years would be highly appreciated. It would be one of the strongest dominating spaces in the hospitality career or field, or industry rather, for the lack of a better word. That word had escaped my brain. I was looking for the hospitality industry. So I would say 5 to 10 years from now, it would definitely not look like what it's looking like currently. If you take even just take a look at the weddings that are happening currently, take
Mm,
a look at the aesthetic, the flow,
right, right.
the wedding gowns. Everything is just elevated. But if you take weddings 3 years ago or just before COVID, it wasn't like that. So I feel
Mm,
like everything changes, everything grows, everything eventually does get better. Everything really does evolve, seasons change, and I'm really the entrepreneurship is seasonal. Things get tough, things get easier. Things get easier, things get tough. It's a dynamic change, and
right.
entrepreneurship requires the strongest character training by self
Right.
to
True,
have.
true. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm just excited for you. I'm very optimistic as well. I feel like there's a lot coming for you in 2026. I have a few connects.
And
Let's say I think there's a lady that I know. We actually just were able to secure a placement for her daughter in Mauritius, and she's an event. Kore she does, I don't know if it's decor. She does these beautiful
mm-hmm,
decorations. She gets, to do these beautiful high-end weddings, bridal showers, and so I think maybe
mm-hmm.
I can just speak to her as well. Maybe you guys can be connected, see how you can work together. Do you think Botswana collaborate? Is that a thing in the creative space?
Batswana do collaborate. Batswana do collaborate. Batswana do try their best to collaborate. One of the things that has also really helped me is the power of collaboration. They do collaborate. I don't want to lie. It's something that I'm also always open to because with collaboration, you grow quickly with collaboration. Um, yeah, so it does work.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. Right now it's 8 a.m. here, and I think that it's like 3 p.m. So you've given
Yes,
us your time. We appreciate it so much. We wish you the best. We speak life into your business. And we know
thank
that
you.
this coming year, God is going to show up for you. You will be booked.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying? And,
amen.
we're looking forward to seeing more content where we see the mixtures. We see
Yes,
you have so much engagement on your page. People love you, and I'm sure they would
amen.
love to see these HD quality videos. I don't know if you can
Amen.
collaborate with videographers where,
Amen.
you
I
know,
definitely will.
yeah,
I
we see
definitely will.
these, we like, ma'am, 2026 is for you.
I humbly receive.
Modimo
Thank you so much for
Modimo
that
flow.
affirmation and declaration. Thank you so much also for having me. It was very fun for me. It was very engaging. And I'm so elated and honored to have had the opportunity to share what I did with you.
Thank you so much. And yeah, have a great day. Bye
Have a
bye.
lovely day. Bye.